Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we've got one that should be really quite unusual actually. We're going to do my first ever craft beer review from Lithuania, and this brewery are very interesting because they like to brew some of the traditional Lithuanian farmhouse ales, which I didn't even know existed until I was actually researching this beer. So today we're going to go to Dundulis Alus and we're having a taste of their Sutvaras today. So this one is brewed using Scotch Gale, which was from Sutvaras, I think, in Sweden. And this beer was brewed for one of the festivals that's run by Brewery. So this one should be a really quite interesting beer. It says on the front here that it's a purse ale, and purse of course I think is the Swedish for the herb that's known as Scotch Gale. In Lithuania of course it's Sutvaras Alus. So yeah, it should be a really interesting beer, this one. It comes in at 6% ABV, and I guess it will be somewhat similar to some of these kind of group beers and herb beers that you find in Belgium sometimes. But we'll see how we get on. As I always say, it's really cool to try different beers from different countries, and particularly when it seems to be a kind of traditional Lithuanian style of beer. It is really quite cool and very rare. This of course came through one of the small partiers just after Christmas, I think, here in Sweden, so it should be a really interesting beer, and as I always say, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one. So anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Dundulis Alus. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. I will make one for the Lithuanian beers that I've reviewed now that I've done my first craft beer, and I will add to that whenever I can. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. And do in particular get in touch if you're watching from Lithuania and let me know more about your craft beer scene. It's always cool to learn more about what's going on in different countries and stuff like this, and I will apologise in advance for any bad Lithuanian pronunciations in this video. So, to tell you a little bit about Dundulis Alus then. So, Dundulis in Lithuanian apparently means thunder, and this company is actually a tandem of two different breweries. So, one of them is small and is located in Panevėžys, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and they brew small batches of 1,000 litres, but the other brewery is located in Brewery and they produce the 5,000 litres batches. So, the reason for this is that they basically wanted to kind of produce the Lithuanian farmhouse ales and also to produce beers that are kind of like the American style craft beers, the IPAs and double IPAs. So this brewery is actually quite diverse in what it's actually producing. So they produce a wide range of traditional Lithuanian farmhouse ales, as you would guess. They also have some meat beers, and they also produce Groot beers as well. Groot, of course, is the sort of herbs that they used to use in Belgium as a substitute for hops in certain cases. But this company was founded back in 2010. The brew kit was actually originally built in the German Democratic Republic, the DDR, in 1983, but it's since been remodelled extensively during its time in Lithuania, so the whole brew kit essentially has been rebuilt, and apparently this is quite a tradition in Lithuania. Many of the breweries in the country use old Soviet dairy equipment, and they've remodelled it to turn it into brew kits, which is quite cool. They're actually quite ingenious in some of these countries, but they use open fermenters, and they also use steam heated kettles, and these are wood fired, so that's why this brewery uses the kind of the moniker, if you like, brewed on wood. So these guys also own and operate several bars around Vilnius and other Lithuanian towns. The current head brewer of the brewery is Simonas Gutautas, who's originally from the north of Lithuania, which was farmhouse brewing country, and apparently his grandmother used to brew bread beers when he was younger. But he also cites Julius Simonaitis, who's a well-known Lithuanian home brewer and farmer. This guy has his own farm, does malts, does hops, and also even has his own yeast strains. He's very influential when it comes to Lithuanian brewing, but of course he is cited as a big influence by Simonas as well. But if you go on their website, they've got a whole range of beers listed there, and from what I gather, these guys are regarded as one of the best kind of craft brewers in Lithuania just now. So this is the very first Lithuanian craft beer that I'd ever seen. I'd seen things like Sutvaras and all of these kind of beers that you can get, the big macro beers, but I'd never ever seen a Lithuanian craft beer. So this one should be particularly interesting, especially since it's one of their kind of traditional farmhouse style ales. So yeah, that's all you need to know about the company just now. As I said, check out the brewery website and everything in the description below if you want to learn more. But we'll get on to tasting this beer now. So this one I think had a 2.7 on Untappd, and it had something like a 70 on Rate Beer when I checked it out earlier. So it's not the most highly rated beer, but that doesn't matter. I'm more just interested in this because one, it's a traditional Lithuanian beer, and two, I've never tried a Lithuanian craft beer before. So yeah, I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork of this one there. There you can see it's quite nicely presented actually. I do like that, these kind of traditional, it's almost like a kind of, some of these patterns that you see on the really old style buildings. And there you can see the nice bottle cap on this one as well. I do like that. I'll definitely be adding that to my collection. It's almost like a kind of dragon or something like that that's on the top there. But yeah, quite nicely presented beer. This one, of course, it's a big ½ litre. And yeah, it should be a really nice one. This, as I said, it's 6% alcohol, so we'll open it up and see how we get on. As I told you at the start of the video, this is one of these kind of traditional beers, and it's brewed with Scotch ale from Sutvaras, which was gathered in Sweden. So yeah, let's get this out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So it looks like it's a nice kind of coppery colour, this one. That looks really cool actually. So yeah, we'll just leave it as it is just now. But yeah, you can get a nice bready, sort of biscuity aroma coming from this beer as you bring it out. But if I hold this up to the light, it's actually a nice kind of reddish, coppery colour. It's got a really kind of almost berry colour to it as well. It's really kind of cool. The head on this one is about 2 fingers, and it's got a slightly kind of beige tint to it. It's a really interesting kind of tart aroma that's coming out of this. But yeah, some visible carbonation on this. I think the beer's around 7 or 8 degrees, but my glass is just steamed up a bit. But the beer is pretty clear. I'm not sure how well you can see that on the camera, of course, but when I put it up to the light, it is pretty clear. And I think it's a nice kind of sort of reddish, dark red, copper or kind of chestnutty colour, this one actually. Maybe not quite as dark as chestnut, but it looks really nice. 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. But yeah, looks really interesting, and I got a whiff of a really interesting aroma from this one as well. So let's have a little look at that more closely. Yeah, that looks really interesting, or smells really interesting I should say. It's actually really quite tart. There's a sort of berryish tartness to this one. It's maybe even got a little bit of lemon in it as well. But yeah, there's a nice sort of bready character to this. It's got a little bit of biscuit. It's just a really, really unusual aroma, this one. I've never quite come across anything like that, but it does remind me a little bit of some of these kind of group beers, as I was saying, that you get over in Belgium. It's definitely got a lot of kind of unusual, kind of herbal character to it. I do wonder if that's why the fruitiness is a little bit unusual, because the Scotch ale that they've used in this, it's a bog shrub from what I looked up. But it definitely has this kind of unusual tart sort of herbal thing going on. It's almost a little bit medicinal actually, the aroma on this one. It's kind of hard to describe it for you because I've just never come across anything like this before. But of course that's what you want as a beer reviewer. You want to have things that are going to test you a little bit and be quite unusual. But it smells really, really nice. So just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this before you get stuck in. But mainly it's bready. There's a little bit of a kind of caramelly biscuit thing going on in this one. Definitely a lot of herbal character, quite spicy. And I guess that kind of, there's a sort of tart, reddish, fruity sort of thing. It's almost candied and medicinal in aroma, but it's really unusual. So particularly if you get the chance to try this beer, and of course you're not familiar with Lithuanian kind of craft beer and stuff, I would recommend just take a little bit of extra time with it and get used to it. But yeah, we'll give this one a try now and see how we get on. So this one is the Sutvaras from Dundulis Alus, and I did look up how you say cheers in Lithuanian, so it is Sveikata. So Sveikata to you guys watching in Lithuania. Cheers, skål. Yeah, that's really unusual. I mean, you can definitely get some of that kind of farmhouse character from it. I mean, I see exactly what they're kind of going for. It's got some of this these kind of tart characters that you expect from the wild ales, the kind of new wave sour beers that are coming out, but then it's got this really interesting kind of bready, spicy character underneath. This is a really unusual beer, actually. Yeah, it's got, this is really cool actually. It's always really interesting just to try completely different styles like this. So, I don't even know where to start with this, there's quite a lot going on in it. So, it has, you can feel a little bit of this just light malty base in there, there's a bit of bready character in there, but then it just morphs into being kind of quite spicy. There's a lot of spice coming out of this one. I guess that will be the kind of herbal character from the Scotch Gale that they've put in this one, or the purse as you would say in Swedish. But that's really unusual, it's nice. I think it's one of these ones, you would really have to try a few of these different Lithuanian beers to fully appreciate what they're going for. But for me, I always like that. I do like trying the traditional beer styles from different parts of the world, and this is really cool. Yeah, I like that actually. It takes a few sips for you to get into it, just because it is so different to anything else I've tried. But I really like how this comes across. I probably need to go to Lithuania and just try a few more of these different styles of beer that they have there to get used to exactly what they're going for. But I'll try my best with it. So, as I said, you've got this light kind of pale malty character. On top of that, there's a sort of brown bread character. You can get a little bit of a kind of biscuity sort of cereal spiciness to this one. There's maybe just a little bit, it's not quite caramelly, but more of a biscuity sweetness coming out of the beer. But on top of that, there's a good little bit of spicy character to this one. Where you would normally find the hops in the beer, there's not really much coming out of that. There's a tiny little bit of earthiness in the back corner of the palate, but as you come around the edge of your tongue, mainly it's got this nice sort of herbal note to it. Once you get into this beer, you really start to feel these flavours kind of just combining together and giving you a really nice overall flavour, if that makes sense. There's nothing in this particular beer that is really punchy. It's not punchy in any one regard, it just blends together quite nicely. Yeah. It's really interesting this. I've never tried something that has this kind of combination of flavours actually. I do like it. As I say, I need to explore these Lithuanian farmhouse ales a little bit more. But yeah, it's got that, the thing that's lingering in this is that sort of herbal character, which I'm guessing is the Scotch Gale. I'm not too familiar with my herbs and sort of spices and things like this, but I'm guessing this kind of herbal character, the spicy character that the beer has, is the Scotch Gale. I probably need to train my palate a little bit more in that kind of thing. But if you just go behind the front curve of the palate, you do get a little bit of red fruity character. It's almost like a kind of candied red fruit, but the beer does have some tartness as well. It's got this kind of, it's not quite raspberry, or I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's definitely a kind of berry tartness that this beer has, and it's really, just everything goes together well in this. In the aftertaste, you're getting that nice spicy character in the middle of your palate. There's a little bit of herbal note on the side of your tongue, and some of that kind of, it's almost, the sharp berryness that you get at the start just morphs into this kind of candied red fruit character, and it works really nicely. Yeah, I do like how that comes across. I guess it's probably like a wild yeast or something like that they're using in this beer, but overall it's a really quite interesting one. We'll just pour the rest of it in and hope that it doesn't go too crazy. But yeah, I mean, it looks really nice. Just look at the colour that you're getting off this beer. But it's really good. I mean, if you get the chance to try this, have a go at it. It's not something that's going to blow your head like some of these big whale beers do, but for me, that's what this whole YouTube thing for me is about. It's just trying different beer styles and different traditional beers from across the world, and it's been really cool to try this one for you. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say it's kind of light-bodied actually. It does have quite a light character to it. The carbonation is fairly smooth though. It's light but also smooth. There's a little bit of a kind of creamy mouthfeel. Mainly it's sort of herbal. It has a little bit of spicy character to it as well. It's not overly dry. In the aftertaste it becomes a little bit drier. There's a bit of kind of sharp tartness to it as well. and just that spicy character is really interesting. Yeah, I would say it's kind of light to mid-bodied. Carbonation does have a little bit of crispness. That does actually help some of the spicy kind of herbal notes come out in this one. But it's really quite nicely done. As I say, this is a style that I probably can't appreciate fully just now, but in terms of enjoyment, I have really liked this, and the whole YouTube experience for me is about reviewing some of these unusual beers for you, so it's been really cool to come across this one. The Mouthfeel is a combination of spicy, herbal, and a little bit tart and fruity as well. So yeah, I guess I've done the best I can with this beer, but it's very unusual in comparison to some of the other things I've come across before, but it's always cool to try different things, and hopefully I can revisit this Farmhouse beer scene in Lithuania at some point. It would be cool to try one of their kind of IPAs, some of the actual sort of new wave craft style beers from Dundulis Alus as well, so hopefully I can return to this brewery in the fairly near future, but it's been really cool to try this example of a traditional Lithuanian farmhouse beer. So yeah, it's been really cool to try this one for you. I hope you guys watching have enjoyed this video. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from this brewery as well, and if you are watching in Lithuania, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that I should check out from your country, and hopefully I can get across and visit sometime and try all these different things. But it has been very cool to do my first ever Lithuanian craft beer review for you, so I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I will catch you soon. So, I sveikata once again, and I'll catch you very soon. Slàinte, ska.